What do you want to talk about right now? I will tell you exactly what you want to talk about right now. I received a comment on a video recently made called the Norwood 3 Flat. Can I copyright that? Can that be mine? As far as I know, I invented that. The phrase the Norwood 3 Flat. My hairline barely exists now, but giving the illusion that it does. Here's a great comment from Rockadoo. I love that name, Rockadoo. Here's his comment, quote, "Yeah, it's getting worse for sure. Completely unrelated, what do you think is a good amount of hair loss by age 60? At what point on the Norwood scale would a 60-year-old be lucky to be at?" So I agree that is a great idea for a video. And I actually wrote down the answers on my little note here. I think this is a good question. This is my perfect answer. I think you would be lucky in regards to Norwood, and assuming that we're not talking about diffuse thinning. Here's what I think you would be lucky at each age. I think that if you, let's start with the high end. Let's start with 60. If you could be age 60 and still be Norwood 3, I'd say you're doing pretty good. That's what, like Tom Hanks, he's in his 60s. He's Norwood 3, but he's had hair transplants. But imagine if you still had that much hair at age 60, Norwood 3 at age 60, I say you're lucky. Moving down to age 50, if you could be only a Norwood 2, at 50 just have the V, man, you'd be lucky. Moving down to age 40, if you could be a Norwood 1, flat, straight across, hairline with just the temple, at age 40 you'd be lucky. And then in your 30s and 20s, if you basically still had a juvenile hairline at that point, then you'd be lucky. In every phase you'd be lucky if you were what I just said. Because I don't think those are the norms. If I could give you an example of someone who I think fit those throughout his life, and correct me if I'm wrong, check my work here, Johnny Cash. I believe Johnny Cash ultimately had the lucky hairline his whole life. And granted, by the time he died, he basically was bald. But he had more hair than most men at each stage in his life. And I think that we could find that Johnny Cash would fit that. And to my knowledge, Johnny Cash never had a hair transplant or anything like that. Like so many, like Bruce Springsteen, for example, I found out, and he's 69 years old and looks great for his age, but he has had some work done on his hair. That's not how his hair would really look if he were like the rest of us. So I think that's a great question. That's my answer. It's not to say that it's unfathomable to be in your 60s and have a Norwood 3 or better. I mean, look at Anthony Bourdain. He was in his 60s and he had, could you even say a Norwood 1? I mean, he had just such a small framed hairline. So it happens, but it's not normal. So you're lucky to, so in review, here's my answer. I think you'd have a lucky hairline for your age if at age 60 you only had a Norwood 3. Age 50 you were only Norwood 2. Age 40 you were only Norwood 1. And in your teens and 20s you remained with the juvenile hairline. That's what I think would be the lucky version. Keep in mind that would be the exception to the rule, meaning that's not the rule for the rest of us. The rest of us are in this club and we can either accept it or we can be in denial. I'm Nick Shell and I'm looking forward to what you're going to say right here, because let's face it, there's a good chance that what you say may turn into its own video. That's exactly what happened here. Let's see if it happens again.